Reason number 7, it was a massive up.
Tales of wonder.
Right? Different things you do.
IQRA KIDS TV.
Initiating System 1. System 1 loaded.
Assalamu alaikum guys, welcome once again to IQRA KIDS TV. As usual, I'm putting on the last touches to our show. And just to remind you, IQRA means to learn, to read, to understand. Kids are you guys. We hope you guys are enjoying it as well. And TV, which stands for television, just in case you didn't know that, is what you should be watching right now. Right guys, it's been mighty busy around here. We've been doing so much amazing work that we really hope you guys enjoy it. The only way to find that out is to play it right now. So here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Initiating System 1. System 1 loaded.
If you faced horrible, discriminating racism all your life, what would you do? Could you? Is it possible that you could still rise to be one of the greatest people in history? Well, today's Muslim hero did exactly that under the weight of oppression and racism. A poet, a humanitarian, and the heavyweight boxer of the world. Today's Muslim hero is none other than Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali was one of the greatest boxers of all time. He is the only individual to hold the title of heavyweight champion of the world 3 times in a row. What made Muhammad Ali so great was his flair, his style, his ability to anticipate rounds, and of course, he could punch really hard. He was also one of the most exciting personalities in any field, whether it be sports or politics. His flair, his ability to rhyme, and his ability to taunt his opponents even before they got into the ring. Muhammad Ali was famous for even predicting what round he would actually beat his opponent in. Muhammad Ali was born Cassius Marcellus Clay Jr. on the 17th of January 1942 in Louisville, Kentucky. His mother, Cassius Jr., was a sign painter and his mother was a maid. Now, during the time that Cassius was growing up in America, America was going through some of the worst racism known to man. In fact, the racism was enforced by a law called the Jim Crow laws. Now, this law meant that blacks and whites were separate, they had to live separately, and the separation was so severe that even watering taps could not be shared by the same people. So there was a watering tap for blacks, a watering tap for whites. There were restaurants for whites, restaurants for blacks. There was even separated toilets, separated churches. As I said, all made lawful and legal. So how did Cassius become a boxer? Well, one day somebody stole his bike and he looked all over the neighborhood for it. He couldn't find it. So at one point he spoke to a policeman called Joe Martin and said to the policeman, if I find a person that stole my bike, I'm gonna beat them up. Now, Joe Martin was a very clever man and he said to him, you know, if you're gonna fight somebody, maybe you should learn how to fight first. And it was good because he actually had a gym. So he invited Cassius to come along and learn how to box. Cassius excelled. In fact, he was much faster and agile than kids in his own age group. He had a fast jab, he was able to dodge, and he looked as if he may go on to take it professionally. Cassius soon started boxing as an amateur and was involved in 105 fights. He won 100 of them and lost only 5. In 1960, Cassius traveled to Rome to participate in the Olympics. He was very successful to the point where he even won a gold medal. When he went back to America, he was hailed a hero. But as happy as he was, and despite his success, when he got back home, he was still a victim of the Jim Crow laws. In fact, he tried to go into a restaurant and was told he couldn't do so because he was black. In 1964, Cassius Clay attended a Nation of Islam rally. At the rally, their main speaker was a man by the name of Malcolm X. Now, what Cassius heard really appealed to him, and he soon became fast friends with Malcolm X. Now, Malcolm X at that time followed the Nation of Islam and their leader, a man called Elijah Muhammad. They had a slightly different version of Islam at that time. After beating Sonny Liston, Cassius decided to join the Nation of Islam. At first, he was given the name Cassius X, but soon after, as his fame grew, Elijah Muhammad gave him the name Muhammad Ali. Now, you might be wondering, why do the Nation of Islam members call themselves X? Malcolm X, Cassius X, and other people call themselves X. That's a good question. The reason why they took the X is because as descendants of slaves who were taken from Africa and brought to the Western world, their names were taken from them. So the names they bore now were not their real names. So Elijah Muhammad said, until you discover who you are, we're going to replace your last name with an X. X means the unknown in mathematics. While all of this was happening, the Vietnam War had kicked off, and many Americans were being drafted into the army. At some point, it was only inevitable that Muhammad Ali would be drafted. However, he refused to fight. He said, because of my religious beliefs, I will not fight in this war. Now, this didn't go down well with the people of America, who saw him as a traitor. However, he was firm and stuck to his guns. However, pressure grew, and the Boxing Association banned him and fined him £10,000. Muhammad Ali was banned from boxing, he was stripped from his title, and he was unable to box in the United States of America for 3 years. Muhammad Ali, the man formerly known as Cassius Clay, joined the Nation of Islam and soon began to teach about Islam according to the Nation of Islam's teachings. He was, however, banned from boxing because he refused to fight in the Vietnam War. Because of this, he was stripped of his title and forbidden to box in the United States of America for 3 years. But things would soon change for him. During his time of inactivity, he wasn't sitting around waiting for something to happen. He was on lecture tours. He would go to schools, colleges, universities, on television, talking about black rights and speaking against the Vietnam War. However, in 1970, Muhammad Ali, thanks to a group of friends, was granted a license to box once again. But after 3 years of inactivity, could he still fight? Despite some doubts, Ali's first return bout was with a man called Jerry Quarry, and he won. Then, 1 month later, his entire ban was lifted, which meant that he could now go and box anywhere in the United States of America and anywhere in the world. This led to some of the greatest legendary victories of Muhammad Ali. Fight of the century, took place on March the 8th, 1971 in New York City between Ali and Joe Frazier. This fight went all 15 rounds with Ali losing to Frazier by decision. It was Ali's first loss as a professional. The Rumble in the Jungle took place on October the 30th, 1974 in Zaire between Ali and George Foreman. Ali knocked out Foreman in the 8th round to regain the title of undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. The Thriller in Manila took place on October the 1st, 1975 in the Philippines between Ali and Joe Frazier. Ali won by a total knockout after the 14th round when the referee had to stop the fight. Muhammad Ali was a showman in every sense of the word. His lyrical ability was used to taunt his opponent way before they even got into the ring. And Muhammad Ali is famous for the following quotes. His most famous phrases were, "Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, his hands can't hit what his eyes can't see." And, "If you even dream of beating me up, you better wake up and apologize." And, "I'm so mean, I make medicine sick." And, "The best way to make your dreams come true is to wake up." And finally, "I've wrestled with alligators, I've tussled with a whale, I've done handcuff lightning and thrown thunder in jail." Using phrases like this, Muhammad Ali was able to demoralize his opponent before they got into the ring, and more often than not, it would work and he would come out victorious. In 1973, when Elijah Muhammad passed away, Muhammad Ali converted to Sunni Islam. Muhammad Ali was involved in many causes that he felt was close to his heart. One of the things he was very much involved in was equality for African Americans, to do away with things like the Jim Crow laws. He also used his fame and wealth to aid poverty-stricken countries from around the world. In 1989, the champ had to retire, but that didn't mean that he wasn't involved in working for charities and other worthy causes. However, in 1984, Muhammad Ali was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, which is a disease that can rob you of your speech and your ability to move. As a fighter, you would expect Muhammad Ali to fight against this disease, and he did for 30 courageous years. But unfortunately, he was not able to fight it off forever. When he succumbed to the disease and news of his passing reached the world, millions of people began to cry and lament that the champ was dead. There has been and there never will be another champion like Muhammad Ali, who died at the age of 75. The funeral of Muhammad Ali started on a Thursday and was then followed by a Friday janazah service. His funeral was attended by politicians, pop stars, religious figures, and all manner of individuals who were there to bid the champion goodbye. His memorial service was attended by 30,000 people, and 100,000 people followed his funeral procession. Despite the racism that he was born into, despite all the obstacles, despite having his license taken away from him, Muhammad Ali was still able to become one of the greatest figures in human history. This is why today he is our Muslim hero.
Hi guys, don't be bored. If you want something to do and you want to learn some really cool stuff, all you need to do is watch IQRA Kids TV. It's so awesome!
Assalamu alaikum, guys. Welcome once again to my random art studio. Unfortunately, our random art spinny thing is broken. So what we're doing some random artwork based on some of our characters and some of our themes here on the IQRA Kids TV. So what I thought we would do is do the IQRA Kids TV logo. Now, I know you're thinking, yeah, but Khaleel, you're not drawing an animal or something. Isn't that sad? No, because it's good to practice drawing graphic things as well. You see, some of you are definitely going to be artists out there. I know you're very talented, but you're not all going to be the same type of artist. Some of you are going to be fine art. Some of you are going to be abstract. Some of you are going to be graphic. Some of you are going to be computer-generated art. So this is part of that, okay, discovery. Learning how to draw and how to design logos. Now, I'm going to put on the screen here somewhere, bing, the IQRA Kids TV, designed by myself, by the way, okay? And we're going to draw that today. Now, as you know, if you've seen any of my tutorials, you know I always like to talk about basic shapes. How many times have I said basic shapes, okay? But basic shapes is what we need in order to understand what we're looking at, especially if we're drawing something and we want to know how do the things fit together. Right, so let's start looking at that logo. Let's start with the IQRA, okay? We're going to put the IQRA. It's in an oblong kind of box. Okay, I'm going to make it a bit dark on the page here so you can see what I'm doing, okay? And on my picture here of can you see that there? I'm going to divide, because it's 1, 2, 3, 4 letters. I'm going to put 1, 2, 3 lines in. One line for the I, one for the Q, and one for the R and the A, okay? Roughly for now, okay? Roughly for now, okay? If I make this a bit brighter so you can probably see it. Okay, can you see? There you go. Yes, it's on the screen. You can see it's quite... So you can see I've got the IQRA, IQRA. That's going to go here. So let's put the circle in for the I here. And it goes down like this. Okay. And I'm going to put the Q in. Now you can see that they're not on the same height. So the Q is going to, the other letters are going to be about here somewhere. So the Q is going to be something like this. It's an odd Q. I can't remember the name of the font that I used for this one, to be totally honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, but it doesn't matter. I just thought it would be an interesting font, and I like it, and I think it works quite nice. Okay, so I'm putting the Q in. See, what I'm doing, I'm using these spaces here, bing, 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 to fit those letters in there, as opposed to just trying to draw them randomly everywhere. Always look at the basic shapes and fit those items into this basic shape. So the arg's going to go about here somewhere. And the leg is going to go slightly below that line. I don't know if we're going to get a time to put in the kids TV, but we're going to do this for now. And the A goes like somewhat like that. Like this. Almost looks like a minion, actually. Almost. Something like that. Okay. And what we're going to do, we're not going to do any colors today, but we're just going to go over it with the felt tip pen. Okay. Something like that. Something like that, okay? Okay, looking at that logo and looking at what I've done, I think it's pretty close. Okay, again, I don't want to spend too much time. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to quickly go over just the outline using my black marker. Now, as I said before, not all of you who are artists out there are going to be the same type of artist. Like, for example, my daughter, Shakira, who lives in Spain, she's a great artist. But she's not the same kind of artist that I am. I'm like a superhero logo kind of artist, graphic-y artist, and she's more like an artist doing costumes and things like that. So she uses her artistic skills for something different than what I do. So that's what I mean. You might have artistic skill, but it doesn't mean that you're going to do exactly the same thing as me or your friend or anybody else for that matter. Okay, so this is good practice to look at these different types of art expression, and doing this logo I think is jolly good. Okay, you can see there what I've done. What I've done I've just put the basics in. I'm going to rub out those pencil lines very quickly. Okay, so you can see based on what's on my phone and the logo, it's not bad, it's not bad. I know we said we wasn't going to use any colors, but I think we've got a bit of time. So let's grab a kind of purpley color and do the inside line of the logo. Oh, that's a bit too dark actually. Let's get a thinner, maybe a pinkish one. Something like this. Okay, but for now I'm just going to use this pinky color just to kind of make it stand out a bit. And it looks quite nice actually. It looks like it's actually glowing a little bit. I didn't actually mean for it to do that, but it looks like it's glowing a little bit. Let me use this other purple here, and I'm going to use that to give it a bit more body. Something like that. Okay, something like that. This reminds me of the ship we drew that time, a couple of weeks ago. Okay, okay, so that is basically what we're talking about there, guys and gals, okay? Using the outline of the basic shapes. As I said, the basic shape of a car would be squares. The basic shape of an egg obviously would be kind of round circles or circles. And using the basic greater shape of where these letters go. If I get rid of some of these pencil lines here again, like this. Okay. Okay, I have simply taken the basic shape of that logo, okay, drawn it out and then put the letters in carefully, okay? Obviously, as I said before, I did this on a computer, but the thing is as well, even though I did it on a computer, it still helps to actually draw it physically, because I started doing calligraphy freehand first and then moved on to using a computer when they introduced computer back in the 18th century when I was alive, something like that. Well, it was a long time ago anyway, right? Anyway, so, and I started to use the computer to draw things and design from there. If we had more time, we could have put the word kids in and the TV and the splurge as well, but we haven't got time for that. Just want to give you a basic insight on how you can put together a graphic-y type of artwork. Once again, guys, send your artwork in. We're dying to see it, okay? You know the email address, info@IQRA.tv, info@IQRA.tv. Send your artwork in. We will show them here. We'll whip them out. And of course, make sure you go to our Instagram page. You know the Instagram page. What's it called? IQRA Kids TV. Yeah, go over there. Like, share, follow, copy, leave a comment as well. It would be great to hear from you guys out there. This is me, Khaleel Mohammad, saying Assalamu alaikum. Speak to you soon. I don't know what to do with myself once the show is over. I'm like this sometimes. But I know I've got lots to get on with. And I want to hear from you guys as well. What do you think of our shows so far? You must have some thoughts, some ideas, some clues as to how we can make our show even better. If you do have some ideas, that is the email address. And if you want to go to our website, there's the website address. And of course, I keep reminding you guys about our Instagram page. If you've not been over there yet, you need to go over there right now. Do it now. Whip your phone out right now. Okay, go to this address, IQRA Kids TV, okay? And make sure you follow us, drop a comment, and etc., etc. You know all the media stuff that you have to do. Go over there, check out our work, inshallah. Right, guys, once again, thanks for joining us. Take care. Assalamu alaikum. Please number 7, it was a massive up.
Tales of wonder.
Right? Different things you do.
IQRA Kids TV.